It's World Cup fever across North America and a bit of chaos in the USL Championship. Welcome to All Talk, All USL Talk. USL covering the latest scores, news, and developments in the second highest division of the United States men's professional soccer system, the USL Championship. I am your host, as always, Vince Galvano. Happy Monday, June 15, 2026, in the midst of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. It's soccer time. Always love hearing that Tudin, I think it's Telemundo commentator, when he does it in Espanol. I remember from 2022 World Cup, 2018 I think as well, when it would be the kickoff and it'd be like, it's soccer time. And it truly is. If you're latching on to it, sports everywhere. What a time to be alive. I mean, the Knicks just won the NBA championship, so you gotta love to see that as a New Yorker. And the fact, the really big thing, United States kicked the crap out of Paraguay, blew the doors off of the World Cup, really shocking some people perhaps, but also catering to the hearts of the fans of the United States soccer team and the United States citizens across the beautiful nation of the USA. So welcome back to Talk USL. We got World Cup fever hitting USL markets. We got packed watch parties, by the way, and props to you if you were able to watch it either in the comfort of your couch, but also we had watch parties organized by USL teams at FNB Stadium in Pittsburgh. There was a nice watch party. Tampa Bay, Al Lang Stadium also had. So a reminder that when you watch the US on the biggest stage, you better not forget where some of these players come from as well. We'll touch upon that like we did last time around, talking about how the USL had been a pipeline for a lot of these so-called USA international players that you've seen on the screens this past weekend. But inside the championship, total chaos. We have some records being tied, which is really cool. Goals in one match, undefeated streaks. Tampa Bay, unbeaten run, finally comes crashing down. We have the youngest player of the month, I think, in league history. So, and then Louisville might be rediscovering something. Monterey Bay suddenly has life, and Brooklyn are becoming harder and harder to ignore. Some big questions in today's podcast. I think, did Hartford expose something real about Tampa Bay? Is Darren Smith now the most dangerous striker in the league? And are Louisville turning the corner, or just, still waiting for this real version of what this team could be under Simon Burton? And with the World Cup energy spreading through USL cities, is this the moment where these clubs become more than local teams and start feeling like true soccer hubs? I'll give you the answer already. I think yes. I really see it because I'm talking about Jeremy Renner coming back to Pittsburgh, the Avenger himself, Hawkeye, showing up for the Pittsburgh game against Indy. It's World Cup fever. It's soccer fever. And let's get into it. So let's talk about the World Cup. Don't forget where they came from. This is a little bit of the segment here, because when you watch the U.S. men's national team, the biggest stage in the sport, there's a lot of familiar USL fingerprints on that roster. Some of these guys came to the USL Championship. I talked about it last time around, but let's just, we're also watching the pathway here. Let's run through some of these names as well as some of the investors. Brendan Aronson, Philadelphia Union 2, Bethlehem Steel FC, made his pro debut there in 2017, played 24 games, reached the USL Championships twice. We had Tyler Adams, by the way, who was starting this past weekend against Paraguay in that, center midfield position with Weston McKennie. This is one of the big ones. First signings in Red Bulls 2 history, 33 games from that 2015-2016 year, 2016 USL Championship title. He's giving back as part of the ownership group at Westchester Soccer Club, helped found the Hudson Valley Hammers in League 2, which is great. Matt Freese, who was in between the pipes, Philadelphia Union 2, Bethlehem Steel FC, similar to Brendan Aronson. He signed a USL Academy contract, later returned to Union 2, played 15 games, made 59 saves, 3 clean sheets, and now the U.S. men's national team goalkeeper picture at the World Cup stage. You have Mark McKenzie, Philadelphia Union 2, Miles Robinson, who played FC Boston Bolts, Charleston Battery, Atlanta United 2, that made his professional debut on loan with Battery in 2017. He also played for United 2 Atlanta before becoming a major in the MLS, and a national team center back, Christian Roldan, Washington Crossfire, Tacoma Defiance. He didn't appear in the Paraguay game, but I expect him to come on in that match against Australia. Austin Trusty, Matt Turner, Austin Trusty with Philadelphia Union 2, Matt Turner with Jersey Express and Richmond Kickers, Ricardo Pepi subbed on, a League One history maker. Pepi scored a hat-trick in his debut, the first hat-trick in League One history, finishing with those 11 goals, helping the North Texas win the title back then. Chris Brady, the third-string keeper for Forward Madison FC, and Tim Ream. That's right, Tim Ream, the captain, Chicago Fire U23, before becoming the veteran leader for the U.S. team. He spent 2 summers in USL League 2 with Chicago Fire U23 and was part of that team that reached the League 2 final. But then you have the investors. Chris Richards for Birmingham Legion FC, a Birmingham native, obviously played tremendous in that opening match. Tim Weah, who subbed on the Brooklyn FC ownership group. Let's mention that. And Gio Reyna, the one who put the icing on the cake, Fort Lauderdale United FC ownership group, another current United States men's national team member connected to USL ownership side, investing in that Fort Lauderdale team as the club builds across the USL ecosystem. So that's what makes this story cool. Keep that in mind. The USL is not claiming that every one of these players become who they are only because of the league. That would be too simple, but the league is part of the story. It gave minutes, it gave debuts, it gave playoff games, it gave professional environments, it gave young players a place to make mistakes, grow, and move upward. So when you're watching the United States, the World Cup, don't just see those Premier League clubs. Don't just see the Juventus for Weston McKennie, European moves, national team cups. Look a little deeper, because a lot of these players, roots-wise, somewhere along the way, there was a USL field, a USL locker room, a USL loan, a League 2 summer, or a first professional moment that helped shape the pathway. That's the segment. World Cup fever. Don't forget where these people come from. Let's get into the Colton Swan being voted the USL Championship Player of the Month for May. The United States Youth National Team player, U19, becomes youngest winner of the award in USL Championships history. So they announced that back on June 11th on USLChampionship.com, the 19-year-old becoming the youngest player to claim that title since it was instituted back in the 2017 season, surpassing the mark, if you recall, from Abdelatif Abukara, the Egyptian who was 20 years old when he claimed the award for March in 2025, the Loudoun player, former Loudoun player, on the way to becoming the league's youngest player of the year at the conclusion of the campaign. So Swan tied for the league lead with 5 goal contributions across USL Championships and Prinkstyre's USL Cup play, notching a 2-goal performance to kick off the month against Jacks in Florida, and then notching a goal and assist in the Batteries 2-0 win against Detroit to conclude the month. So big news for him. Swan has recorded now 8 goals and 13 appearances across all competitions so far this season. He also found the net in the U.S. Open Cup and USL Cup, so also in Cup play, doing very well. So desire to improve each day. Coach Ben Pierman has, sung his praises, saying, and quote, Colton has a great mentality. He's hungry, tenacious, generally selfless for this club. He wants to improve. He understands the process in which he is currently navigating, and this has resulted in his uptick in form and production, but also in his individual and team's performances. So, having entered the professional ranks with Battery after most recently competing at Indiana University, Colton Swan's youngster fast start to the season has validated his move to the Low Country. So congrats to him. He earned 45% of the weighted poll. That obviously, as you know, includes the technical committee, a national panel of independent media representing every USL market, and obviously an online fan vote held at USLChampionship.com. Right behind him was also forward former Charleston player MD Myers, who finished with 42% of the van vote, but across that media vote, across that USL vote, weighted wise, total vote 29%. Then it was Dimitri Arafeev with 22% of the total vote, and then you had Bruno Rendon at the bottom for Indiana with 4% of the votes. Congratulations, obviously, to those 4 players being nominees, but the big one, wow for Colton Swan, the man who is the youngest ever player to win the Player of the Month. So we have another name to add to the list of USL players playing in the World Cup, and guess what? Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC's Garvin Metusula gets a call-up. It was announced on Thursday for the Haiti national team. Metusula will replace Leverton Pierre in the Haiti squad, with Pierre being ruled out of the tournament with a right adductor injury that is set to keep him sidelined for multiple weeks. So unfortunately for Pierre, but congratulations to Metusula, a native of Quebec, qualifies to play for Haiti through his mother's heritage. He made his debut for Haiti on March 28, 2022, and since then he's earned 15 caps for the country. During the past World Cup qualifying campaign, the Colorado Springs Switchbacks defender made a pair of appearances featuring against Costa Rica and Honduras. The 26-year-old has made 30 appearances in the USL Championship since joining the Switchbacks for the 2025 season, recording approximately 2,500 minutes of action. So he joins fellow Switchbacks players Duke Lacroix and El Paso Locomotive FC midfielder Carlos Sante, as Haiti begins its run in the World Cup group stage against Scotland on Saturday afternoon. We're recording on a Sunday. Unfortunately, Haiti losing that matchup 1-0 to Scotland. Unfortunately, none of the USL players, Sante, Medesula, Duke Lacroix, made an appearance in that opening match, but it was a really good match. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch it because it was just way too early in the morning for me. But Haiti looked pretty good. They had momentum at certain parts, and it wasn't a blowout win that you would maybe have foreseen. So congrats to Haiti for keeping it close with Scotland. Hopefully they can find the back of the net in the tournament. But beyond that, beyond Duke Lacroix, beyond Sante, beyond Medesula, don't forget Curacao, Eloy Room, Jorgen Locadia from Miami. Those are the two players that are representing as well when it comes to USL players in the World Cup. So that means 5 active USL Championship players at the 2026 World Cup. And I also have to mention that Haiti, they found a World Cup home in New Jersey at Stockton University. How about that? So that's really cool. A team, that hasn't played in its own country in about 5 years due to gang violence, unfortunately, will make Stockton its temporary home for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Jeff Haynes, Stockton Associate Director of Athletics and Recreation, said our job here at the team base camp is simply to provide a home away from home and create an environment for Haiti to flourish in America while competing in the World Cup. He wants to congratulate Haiti in qualifying, of course, so that's really nice. So closed to public practices at Stockton for about 9 days in between its group games against Scotland on June 13 and Brazil when it comes to June 19 in Philadelphia, Morocco June 24. Team expected to hold its final practice on campus on June 22nd, which is really cool. I played in against Stockton. I didn't appear on the matchup, but when I was playing for William Patterson in college soccer, I played, we warmed up on the field. It's a really nice place, nice environment. Stockton, a really solid place in New Jersey. Good team when we played them as well that year. Back, I think it was 2000, when we visited them, 2017, maybe 18, I think 2017 though. So, really cool stuff. So that's great. And then watch parties galore. Do not forget, quick World Cup fever note as well. Quick shout out to Pittsburgh for the USA-Paraguay watch party at FMB Stadium. It looked electric. Down in St. Petersburg, more than 3,000 fans packed out Lang Stadium, home of Tampa Bay Rowdies, for that World Cup watch party as well. Fans watched on a massive 20-foot LED screen that's set up on the field. Local American Outlaws chapter leading chants, songs throughout the night. So again, this is exactly the kind of thing I love seeing during the World Cup. Pittsburgh at FNB Stadium, Tampa Bay at Al Lang. These are local homes of the sport, and USL turning into World Cup gathering places. Maybe I missed any other USL places. Not sure that we're hosting, but perhaps change. We'll see. But that matters because this is how the game grows, not just through 1 month of national attention, but through clubs giving fans a place to feel part of it. That matters. So great to see that from Pittsburgh Riverhounds Soccer Club. You have all the information, by the way, for Pittsburgh on their website for what it looks like when it comes to tickets and also what concessions are invited there. Yahoo Sports Tampa Bay, Ashley Neyra with the coverage for Tampa side of things. So that's great to see. I was at a watch party here in Switzerland for the opening match against Qatar. Went to the first half just in my local city. Great. I mean, there was 500 people that showed up there. Beers were flowing. It was just good vibes, and the World Cup's here. Talking about cups, though, let's just quickly touch upon the USL Cup, and then we'll talk about all the matches that took place this past weekend. So matches we didn't cover from the USL Cup, one of them was Brooklyn against Portland Hearts of Pine, and Brooklyn now had the record for most goals scored in the history of Brooklyn in one match. 5 goals against Portland Hearts of Pine. Anderson with a double, Stojanovic with a double, and that's right, Thomas Van Kazel. We had him on as a guest, if you recall. If you haven't seen the interview, definitely check it out. The man scores his first USL goal in years, and his first, obviously, for Brooklyn. So, when you get the rub from Talk USL, good things happen, which is what you'd love to see. He also got an assist. You got an assist as well in this past week's game against Lou City. We'll talk more about that, but love to see it when our guests are performing well in the USL and the USL Cup. Love to see that. From Greenville side of things, they took down Loudoun. William McKee, Connor Evans, Jason Boregi each found the net with a 3-1 victory against Loudoun in Group 5 of the Tires USL Cup. I think it was on Prince Tires USL Cup on Wednesday night. Loudoun did get a nice consolation goal through James Murphy. Should mention that in second half stoppage time, but the Triumph claimed all 3 points. Elsewhere, one Knoxville tied Chattanooga Red Wolves. So here it is when we talk about these two groups in particular. First, looking at the group involving one Knoxville, Chattanooga. Nothing really changing out there. San Antonio is still on top with 8 points. Birmingham in second place with 6 points. 6 points seems to be a good place at the moment for a second place team, especially with one game remaining. High goal differential is key here. When you look at Group 5 and Brooklyn's side of things, that win has, catapulted them to tie goal difference with Hartford with +5. They play a Rhode Island side that's 1 point behind them in third place. So Brooklyn gets the win against Rhode Island. Maybe Hartford drop points. Hartford has 7. They're taking on Westchester Soccer Club, which are at the bottom. Really nothing to play for. So I expect Hartford to obviously win that game. But if you're at 9 points in second place, that wild card spot, the best second place spot with good goal differential is where you want to be. So maybe there is a shot in the dark that Brooklyn is the team that qualifies out of that second spot. Very, very interesting thing to pay attention to as that cup progresses and everyone plays their last. Just grabbing my coffee here. Everyone plays their last little USL Cup fixture on the way. So keep that in mind. All right, so take a look at midweek fixtures now. We had Birmingham taking on Lou City. By the way, just an FYI, in terms of, international play, Lou City announced on Thursday the club will host Trinidad and Tobago men's national team on Saturday, July 25th, in its first friendly match versus a senior national team. Kickoff set for 8 p.m. at Louisville, Kentucky's Lynn Family Stadium. So that's a huge honor. I mean, Lou City President James O'Connor had said with the 2026 FIFA World Cup being partially hosted in the United States, American sports fans will be fully immersed in international soccer this summer. So we're thrilled to bring Lou City fans a taste of the international game with the historic friendly between our club and the Trinidad and Tobago national team. So Trinidad, if you recall, had qualified for the FIFA World Cup once in its history. In 2006, the nation is one of 12 from the CONCACAF region, which includes North America, Central America, and the Caribbean, to ever qualify for the World Cup, which is really cool. So they've been a member of FIFA since 1964. They defeated, obviously, United States back on October 10th, 2017 in a 2018 FIFA World Cup qualifier. That loss eliminated the U.S. from qualification for the World Cup finals the following year. So there you have it. Goalkeeper Greg Ranjit Singh was an unused substitute in the game for Trinidad and Tobago. He was a Lou City player at the time and still ranks first in club history in saves, 188 in clean sheets. So great to see it, full circle moment. I'm sure he'll be at that match as well on July 25th. But Louisville hosting an international team in July. Look forward to that. Louisville always really having some really cool matches. Frankfurt in the preseason for them. And then now, you have an international team. So Lynn Family Stadium's a great place, what it seems like for hosting these really types of games. And let's talk about this Lou City team that's really kind of making waves and finding its form again. If you look back to the backheel.com and the USL newsletter featuring John Morrissey, USL Tactics, he talked about Lou City, and he talked about the fact that they were discovering their defensive identity a bit. Challenges per game, tackles and interceptions are at a 5-year low, which helps explain why they looked, softer defensively in stretches this year. But against Birmingham, Simon Birds switched to a bit of a 5-2-3, so brought back some physicality, verticality as well. And Babacar Nyang was singled out as a massive catalyst in this game. Taylor Davila had also one of the most engaged defensive matches, 3 tackles, 11 ground duels. So Louisville, maybe sacrificing some sterile possession for a little bit of controlled chaos, with only 49% of the possession in the match against Birmingham. But it was an early goal from Birmingham. Darbian, who found the back of the net in the 10th minute. He's been phenomenal so far this season for Birmingham. And then just before the brink of halftime, it was Babacar Nyang who was singled out, getting that goal. 3 out of 4 ground duels won, added tackle contributions to the game. So this one ended 1-1 midweek between Birmingham and Lou City with a capacity crowd of 3,659 in Birmingham, Alabama. So I think a good result for both sides. They'll be fine with that. moving forward. We also had a 1-1 draw in Keyworth Stadium in Detroit. It was Detroit that had to fight back, settling for the 1-1 draw against El Paso midweek. Le Rouge started fast. They created some other chaos through Rutz, Morris, and Atis Juf, but El Paso absorbed the pressure. They landed a highlight reel punch in the 42nd minute when Armando Moreno smashed home a bicycle kick. A really nice goal from Eric Cavillo's chipped delivery. Probably going to be goal of the week if you ask me. Detroit, though, answered quickly after halftime. Taka Preston whipped in a dangerous ball from the right. Abdoulaye Jupe volleyed home from close range in the 49th minute to level it. From there, Detroit pushed hardest for the winner, but Sebastian Moramora stood tall. Kobe Hernandez Foster hit the post late, and El Paso became the first team this league season to actually take a road point from Detroit. El Paso side that's had the disciplinary issues. Still, unfortunately, no Cristo Fernandez. It was like, he signed and still we're just waiting and waiting for him to make his first appearance. I don't even know if he was on the substitute list. Was he? No, he wasn't even on the substitute list. So it's like, where is Danny Rojas? Where is Ted Lasso? I got to start asking these questions a bit more because he's signed, it's official, and then it's like, this guy, is he even playing? Is he even training? If you're in El Paso and you know what the story is, feel free to reach out. Happy to publish a bit more about it, but we're just waiting for that. But Jope was the one who gave Detroit the moment they needed. He completed 13 of 15 passes, created 3 chances, took 3 shots, and won 7 out of 10 duels on the night. USLChampionship.com with the coverage. So rescues Detroit, but El Paso escapes Keyworth with a point, starting to build a little bit of momentum on their side because they desperately need it. Monterey Bay is a team also doing very good stuff at the moment. We should announce that on Tuesday, the club had signed Summersall to its USL Championship roster. Summersall, not from Monterey Bay, guys, going to be Sporting Jack's side, with Monterey Bay taking on Sporting Jack's midweek. Summersall joining Jack's, having most recently competed for fellow USL Championship club, where he made 12 appearances across all competitions previously this season. This 28-year-old has made 60 appearances in the league overall, recording 1 goal, 1 assist, 18 chances, and approximately 3,000 minutes of action. The bulk of, if you recall, Summersall's experience in professional ranks came with North Carolina FC, playing 4 seasons with the club, winning that USL League One title back in 2023. So a guy that's been around a little bit in the USL ranks, now signing that contract with Sporting Club Jacks. So that's good stuff. But Monterey Bay's revival keeps rolling with a late winner from Boudoir on this one. So this season for Monterey Bay is starting to come to life. After a brutal 0-7-2 start, the Union made it 3 straight USL Championship wins with a 2-1 victory over still winless Sporting Jacks at Cardinale Stadium. Joel Garcia opened the scoring in the first half with his first professional goal. Congratulations to him. Elijah Paul with the assist, who's been quite consistent so far from Monterey Bay this season. Sporting Jacks did find a way back to the match, due sadly in the 70th minute. But in the 84th minute, Riley Boudoir delivered the decisive moment, ripping a left-footed finish into the top right corner to push Monterey Bay back toward the Western Conference playoff conversation. So, apologies there. I got to turn my phone off because it's making a little bit of notes. But the important thing is the defense tightened up too. They allowed just 2 goals across their 3 league matches. Jacob Jackson, the recent acquisition from Monterey Bay, came up with some 8 saves in the night. So Riley Boudoir still continuing the spark from Monterey Bay. The New Zealand forward scored the late winner, now has 4 goals and an assist during this, Union's 3-game winning streak. John Devine and Monterey Herald there with the coverage. We'll talk about Phoenix and Lou City midweek matchup as well. Lou City punishing Phoenix in this one with a ruthless second half win for them. And that's really an important thing when you consider what's going on. We talked about the Louisville game. I should have mentioned that was from earlier on in June. But if you look back to this past midweek, there were signs against Birmingham, and then it really came to fruition as well. They snapped a 5-game winless streak in this one in league play, which was the longest in club history. They did it with their first clean sheet since April 18. So that's really the big one. And it was a scoreless first half, but they struck twice in second half to take control. Mukwele Akali opened the scoring in the 53rd minute after Zach Duncan drove through transition and slipped him in before Duncan added the second himself. In the 67th minute off, Chris Donovan set up for the throw-in, and then Louisville just managed the lead from there. I mean, not much attendance in the midweek matchup, as you can imagine. From Phoenix side of things, 3,174 in attendance there. But key takeaways is the fact that Louisville's transition threat changed the match. They snapped that winless streak, and Zach Duncan here was a difference maker for Louisville, assisting Akali's opener and scoring the insurance goal himself. I mean, Phoenix had the ball, they had the shot volume, but Louisville gave a bit of a masterclass in efficiency, and that's where they're trading off the possession for what you can say a bit more sturdier back line, the 5-2-3 setup. and efficiency where possible in the final third of things. Tampa Bay Rowdies, let's talk about them. They had a midweek matchup where they refused to lose, but they did let one slip late, we can say, for battery side of things. After nearly 2-hour weather delay at Al Lang Stadium, the Tampa Bay Rowdies and Charleston delivered a wild 2-2 no-quarter derby draw. Tampa Bay struck first 30 minutes through Luis Perez, whose rocket capped off a dangerous counterattack, sent the Rowdies into halftime 1-0, and then Charleston responded well after break. Malik Foster leveling it in the 55th minute. Then Colton Swan, player of the month for May, was credited with the go-ahead goal in the 81st after Miguel Berry's shot deflected off of him and into the net. The guy is just, right place, right time when it comes to these kind of things. And it looked like the battery was going to steal all 3 points, going to end the streak themselves when Matheus Oliveira popped up in the 91st minute to rescue Tampa Bay and keep their unbeaten start alive. Charleston's second half adjustment worked. They found more bravery in the ball. Matheus Oliveira delivering the biggest moment of the night, coming off the bench, by the way, we should have mentioned, and rescuing the Rowdies. But then things would go from, warning sign to, back-to-back home games here, and Hartford Athletic are the team to finally take down Tampa Bay Rowdies in this one. Siaha slamming the door on Tampa Bay. They threw everything in Hartford, but Siaha turned Al Lang Stadium into his own personal highlight reel. The Rowdies nearly struck first when Marco Micheletto curled an effort towards the top right corner in the first half, only for Siaha to make a brilliant save. Hartford then punished Tampa Bay in the 20th minute. Samuel Carriaga's shot from the edge of the box was parried. Sebastian Anderson reacting quickest to bury the rebound for a 1-0 lead. From there, it was survival mode for Hartford. Tampa Bay finished the night 28 shots, 75% possession, a wild 62 crosses. Hartford blocked 7 shots, protected the box, and Siaha stole the show. 5 saves, two huge first half stops, complete command. Player of the match, no debate. 5 save shutout for him. Sebastian Anderson scoring the decisive goal. It's a massive road win for Hartford, their 3rd away victory of the season, easily one of their biggest results so far. So here that you have, did Hartford expose a flaw in Tampa Bay, or was it just one of the goalkeeper games? And Tampa Bay generated massive pressure. When you rely on 62 crosses, you're asking for one perfect touch and you crowd a box. Hartford defended with desperation. And now you look at the things, what has happened. 12 is really a magic number here. USL season, if you go back to 2025, Lou City went 12 games undefeated from the start of the season before their first loss. So their undefeated start 2025 was the longest in club history for Lou City. Here, Tampa did the same thing, 12 being the magic number to start this season. But if you look back, additionally, the Rowdies had a 13-game undefeated streak going into the 2020 USL Championship final, and that included playoff running games. So, but starting the season-wise, 12 is the number to beat. But congratulations to Tampa for making it all the way to mid-June before losing a match in league play. Congrats to Hartford for defeating the streak. Let's talk about Sporting Jacks in Detroit. Sporting Jacks still unable to find a victory in the USL Championship. And here, you want to talk about records being tied? Look no further. Darren Smith, the South African forward, the man of the moment, you could say. But maybe argue Colton Swan as well for Charleston. But a 2-hour weather delay as well in this matchup. Sporting Jacks struck first. It was Jaskalainen heading home a corner from Rafferty Petter in the 9th minute, but that lead disappeared instantly. I'm talking like Darren Smith equalizes 4 minutes later, taps it in after Ben Morris's shot was parried, then adds his second about 13 minutes later, to be precise, his second 26 minutes after racing onto Morris, through ball around the keeper, finishing it into an empty net. Right before halftime, Smith completes the hat trick with a volley finish, flipping an early deficit into a 3-1 Detroit lead. And he was nowhere near done. He grabs his 4th in the 57th minute, turning home a low cross from Preston before Jacks briefly responds through Kieran Sadler. Back-to-back games for the man, and especially in the 7th minute, it just seems like a good opportunity to put a bet down Sadler will score in late second half because it's just been going on. But Detroit keep pouring it on. Colby Hernandez Foster wins the ball high, sets up Smith for his 5th of the night, tying the USL Championship single game record. Hernandez Foster said, okay, you got the record tied. Let me start to cap this off. And the 90th plus third, he adds his own in stoppage time with a brilliant 25-yard free kick into the top corner. One of the best lefties in the league, Colby Hernandez Foster. But an historic striker performance, Darren Smith scoring 5 goals on 6 shots, all on target, moving into the Golden Boot lead with 11 goals at the moment. And wow, Detroit putting down 6 against Sporting Jacks on the road. So he's got to be the Golden Boot favorite now. 5-goal night does not just inflate the numbers, it changes the narrative, I'd say. Becoming one of the most dangerous players and consistent strikers in the league. Loudoun taking on Rhode Island. Again, back to the USL Tactics. Rhode Island was one of the teams that was featured recently from John Morrissey on Backfield.com USL Tactics. He had talked about a couple things and some key tactical themes for Rhode Island, that they are, Kano Smith is getting creative structurally. You can imagine, the fact that they're manipulating space using dual dropping midfield rotations. They have aggressive fullback width, and they have split number 9 roles between the forwards. And Hugo Baccarat's movement to the back line was repeatedly highlighted as a trigger for progression. You have Amos Shapiro-Thompson dropping deeper for the number 10 spot to create overloads and dribbling lanes. Then you have Aldair Sanchez, Frank Darcy stretching width, giving players like Leo Alfonso, J.J. Williams, Pity Rodriguez room to attack the interior. And that's a strong narrative we can say. It's the fact that, chance for creation is not random. It's actually repeatable. And Rhode Island's attack isn't always clinical, but the process is becoming seriously sophisticated. And it showed in this one on the road to Loudoun. They grabbed the statement road win at Segra Field. They beat Loudoun 4-1 on the night. Williams, Scardina, Afonso, Atkinson, 4 different goal scorers on the night. It was 1-0 going into the second half. Williams had started the scoring in the 22nd minute. Became 2-0 through Scardina. And then it was a get back goal from Loudoun United. Who else but Ulferson? The guy's been phenomenal for Loudoun so far this season. But from that side of things, Rhode Island returns, and then Afonso puts one in 71 to keep the game out of reach. And then even more so Atkinson in the 89th from another Williams assist in that one. So J.J. Williams was the clear standout, 1 goal, 2 assists. He also won 4 of 7 aerial duels, recording a game-high 6 touches in the attacking penalty area, giving Loudoun problems all night. USL Championship.com with the coverage there. So there you have it. Rhode Island at the moment looking like a team in form. Lexington stuns first place San Antonio, a statement shutout win in Kentucky for them. Sporting Club held in the visitors without a single shot on target. Blaine Ferry headed home Marcus Epps' perfect delivery after the first half stoppage time break. You had a sharp buildup involving Aaron Malloy. Rodriguez, who doubled the lead in the 68th minute in his first match back after being recalled from the one Knoxville loan. Xavier Sengwe played the final ball across goal. He taps it in, Rodriguez, to seal Lexington's 4th win in 5 matches across all competitions. The momentum is real now. 3 straight home wins, a 4-win, 1-loss run over the last 5 matches in all comps. And man-oh-man, Rodriguez making an instant impact in his return to Lexington. Good job on Lexington for, recalling him, because he scored 7 goals in 12 matches on loan and 1 Knoxville. So he's coming back immediately and coming back in form, we should mention. So congrats to him and congrats to Lexington. They're turning over a new leaf. Statement went from them. Pittsburgh taking on Indiana. Hawkeye returns. Jeremy Renna was seen in attendance for the game against Indy. So love to see that. He's coming back. He's really enjoying the atmosphere at FNB Stadium. And Kelps gets his first career goal, and this one is a dramatic one. 92nd minute, Perrin Barnes recycles possession, picks out Lassie Kelp near the post. The German defender controls with his back to goal, turns towards the end line, squeezes a sharp angled finish through Eric Dick to score his first career goal. Went it for Pittsburgh. Eric Dick returning to Pittsburgh in between the pipes for Indy 11, but the 2025 USL Championship soccer champions getting the better of the former keeper and former MVP of that final last year. And that one, so you'd love to see that. Pittsburgh defensive form continues to look serious. Capozano made 2 saves for his 3rd straight clean sheet. And Lassie Kelp, the young German defender, picking up the first time, great time to get his first professional goal beyond the stoppage time. Winning 11 of 16 duels, making 4 clearances, creating 1 scoring chance, and helping anchor another Riverhounds clean sheet. Charleston wins big against Tulsa at Patriots points. 5 goals they put on. Absolutely ruthless. They concede first, which is crazy. Remember, Cabral gave Tulsa the opener in the 15th minute, but it did not even last a breath. Colton Swan, again, getting on the board, equalizing the 16th. Malik Foster made it 2-1 in the 18th minute. And then Emilio Icaza pouncing on a rebound in first half stoppage time to send Charleston into the break in fully control, we could say. And then Battery kept pouring it on after halftime. A little bit later, though, it was Wilmer Cabrera coming off the bench, scoring the 80th minute and then setting up Chris Allen in the 93rd to complete the 5-star night. 5 different scores, 5 unanswered goals. Charleston remained unbeaten at home this season, and Colton Swan looks to be one of the hottest attackers of the championship. He scored his 9th goal of the year, his 6th in league play, now found the back of the net in 3 straight championship matches. And let's talk about as well a little bit of Birmingham Legion taking on Las Vegas Lights in this one. Saturday night in Alabama, the Lights were on top early on in the first half. Olex Anderson goal following a lightning-quick counterattack led by Christian Pinzon and John Rodriguez. Striker Manuel Arteaga found himself out wide to serve it across. Anderson flashed across his defender, flew through for the diving header, and buried the chance to make it 1-0. Birmingham did hit the back of the net twice in the first half. Both goals chalked off due to clear offside calls. And then just before halftime, Anderson earns a penalty for the Lights after he was shoved from behind while challenging for a cross. Rodriguez steps up to double the Vegas advantage, but his penalty is well saved by the Birmingham Legion goalkeeper. However, Rodriguez would not be denied early in the second half, rising highest on the front post to flick in a corner from Pinzon to make it 2-0. Las Vegas looked to be cruising to a victory, but Birmingham grabbed the late goal just before stoppage time to half the deficit amidst a frantic 8 minutes of stoppage time. Lights goalkeeper Stajuar stepped up with a big save late on to preserve all 3 points. So there you have it. Devin Rensing, head coach, very appreciative of the fact of the performance from Rodriguez and Anderson. And this one, John Rodriguez bagging a clutch second half goal, and they earned their first road victory of the season against Birmingham in Alabama this past Saturday night. Lou City taking on Brooklyn, and Brooklyn nearly shocks Lou City before Serrano's late equalizer. And it was in the 4th minute, Thomas Van Kazel. We're going to shout him out again. The guest that we had on recently, if you haven't checked out the interview, definitely check it out. It's across all platforms. If you want to watch some videos, you can even see some reels on social media. More to come this week as well as we prepare for the France opener. Yeah, I gave him a little cool quest there, but the French Guiana International sends a cross into the box, and Marcus Anderson controlled it with his left before volleying home with his right to make it 1-0. So back-to-back assists and games for Van Kazel. Brooklyn nearly doubled the lead moments later when Van Kazel hits the crossbar, and Peter Mangione also headed over as the visitors kept pushing. So he's killing it at the moment. It's that Talk USL rub, I'm telling you, people. Louisville found their response at the 30th minute, though, after a chaotic sequence in the box. Chris Donovan eventually forced the equalizer over the line. But Brooklyn answered the pressure well. They almost took the lead before halftime through Pinto and Stojanovic, but Foundes came up with a double save to keep it 1-1. Going into the second half, Brooklyn did manage to get back in front. C.J. Olney Jr. played a long ball forward. Stojanovic struck from outside the box to make it 2-1. In the 55th minute, it was looking like Brooklyn were going to come all across with the 3 points, but Louisville found one last moment, 89th minute. Who else but Ray Serrano pouncing on a bouncing ball in the box, finishing to rescue a 2-2 draw. So the pressure eventually paid off. Twice they had to chase the game of the night, Lou City, but they managed to come back on 2 occasions. So a bit of a statement point for Brooklyn, you could say, despite almost winning the match. But the fact that you're an expansion team going against a well-known side, a well-consistent side, one of the powerhouses of the USL Championship in recent years, getting that 2-2 draw, scoring 2 goals on the road. This is important stuff, starting to pay off. You could see a little more from Brooklyn's side of things, and Thomas talked about it when being on the podcast. It's like, hey, we're doing really good in the build play, but things got to change and shift a little bit in the final third when attacking, and 7 goals from the past 2 games for Brooklyn. You got to love to see that as well. So Colorado taking on Sacramento. Sacramento announced on Thursday that the club signed defender Michel Benitez to a multi-year contract extension. So he joined the Republic back in 2025 following an 8-year career across the top leagues in Mexican football. Obviously, providing and proving his quality, earning a spot in the opening night starting 11. Since then, he's gone on to appear in every match across all comps to date, 56 matches, which is incredible. So consistent as well, adding 12 goal contributions. And this year, he leads the indomitable club in Sacramento with 3 regular season goals and 2 Team of the Week selections. So getting that multi-year contract, congratulations to him. Certainly owns it in this one. And Jack Gurr also giving the physical road win over Colorado Springs Switchbacks. There's no tough cookie to crack, especially the fact that you shut him out. First half was stop-start with physical, 15 fouls, 5 yellow cards before the break, but the decisive moment came in the 60th minute. Lee Desmond switched the field into space. Tyler Wolf delivered the ball across. Collinsworth got the first touch. Jack Gurr smashed it into the upper corner with the follow-up. But Sacramento's back line held firm to complete that clean sheet. This was a defensive grind from Sacramento, holding Colorado Springs to just 2 shots in the goal despite 12 total attempts. So congrats to Jack Gurr, for getting the only goal in this game. John Ferris, Sacramento Republic FC Communications with the coverage. Only a couple more games to cover. All draws, we should mention, but El Paso returning to Southwest University Park. They went close a couple times against Phoenix in this one, but the hosts found the opener just 56 seconds after halftime. Rubio Rubin danced to the box, set up Alex Mendez to finish from the left side. Phoenix answered in the 71st minute as Damian Rivera created space on the right, picked out JPCRs, who powered a header into the left corner. Both teams had late chances to win, but Rakowski denied Cavillo from close range, and Sebastian Moramora stopped Isan Sacco in stoppage time to keep it level. Surprisingly, Sacco and Rubin, who have been competing big time at the top of the boards for the Golden Boot this year, none of them finding the net in this one. It's just how matches kind of turn out. But Phoenix fight back. El Paso dropped more points from ahead. Frustration continuing a little bit for El Paso. They're now winless in 7 league matches and have dropped a league high 11 points from winning positions. Phoenix responded well after the midweek loss to Louisville, but they still have just won 1 game in their last 5 matches overall. New Mexico taking on OC at the Lab. Early fireworks, late woodwork in this one. New Mexico and Orange Counties played to a 1-1 draw at Isotopes Park, with both sides extending their unbeaten league runs to 3 matches. New Mexico struck almost immediately. Kip Keller scored just 99 seconds in with a diving header from Nico Hamalanen's cross, which was really nice, but, quite close on. It was, not even 20 minutes later, and Orange County answered in the 18th minute. Chris Hagart found room to the left, delivered a low ball across the 6-yard box for Nico Benalcazar, who finished first time to make it 1-1. New Mexico had the better late chances. Usman Jabang, Justin Renix, both hitting the crossbar in the second half, which is crazy, but it just was one of those days where the ball wouldn't go in the net afterwards, and Chris Hagart was Orange County's key creator on the night, completing 16 of 18 passes, adding 3 shots to a sharp attacking midfield display. But no deadlock broken. Well, it was broken, but, couldn't be further broken. And both sides did share the spoils at New Mexico there. And then in Oakland, Miami, the only 0-0 draw on the entire weekend action as well as midweek action goes to Oakland and Miami in this one. I think we can really say that Oakland missed Peter Wilson badly. Without the lead striker, the Roots still created chances, but lacked the ruthless penalty box presence to finish them. Prentice, Bravo, Danny Trejo, all had big chances. Trejo's 68th-minute opportunity standing out as a moment Oakland will replay in their heads. Ty McCabe sent him clean through. Miami goalkeeper, second-string goalkeeper, because Eloy Room is at the World Cup with Curacao. Felipe Rodriguez is the goalkeeper here. Comes up with a huge kick save to keep the match scoreless. The final touch never arrived for either side. But the defensive progress is real. Oakland posted another clean sheet. Julian Bravo is making a serious case for more minutes in the back line. For Oakland, McIntosh was the man in between the pipes for Oakland Roots in this one. Rodriguez getting the actually man of the match according to FOTMOB with an 8.0 rating. So coming in and seizing the opportunity to play at the moment with Eloy Room being at the World Cup to his advantage. So there you have it. That's Jonathan Camus, from Roots Blog with the coverage there. Let's look at the table in the next matches real quick as we wrap things up in this episode, but really important. Tampa Bay Rowdies still at the top of the Eastern Conference despite losing for the first time this season. They have a 21 goal score and then 28 goals, going against, plus 13 goal difference. But the big thing is 28 points from the 8 wins, 4 draws over the 13 matches played. 28 points is a good 7 points ahead of second place sides Detroit City FC and Lou City FC. In fourth place, Charleston Battery with 20 points. Pittsburgh Riverhounds in fifth place with 19 points. Indy 11 in sixth place with 18 points. Hartford Athletic in seventh place, tied with Miami at 17 points. Then that's sort of, right, that playoff spot. The magic number right now is 17, but Rhode Island leading the charge, the bottom half of the table, with 15 points from 11 matches. Birmingham have only 11 points from 11 matches. Brooklyn, despite being on a losing streak, they have back-to-back draws. finding themselves ahead of Loudoun at the moment with 9 points to the good. Loudoun do also have 9 points as well. And then at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, still without a win after 13 matches played, is Sporting Jacks with only 3 points from 13 matches. Western Conference side of things, we talked about that upset victory for Lexington against San Antonio. San Antonio, though, still remain on the top of the Western Conference with 21 points. In second place, Orange County with 20 points. In third place, tied, Oakland Roots and Phoenix Rising. Oakland Roots with a game in hand over Phoenix, 12 matches played versus 13. Then, middle of the table is where things get very interesting, and I'm going to be very honest. Western Conference is very, very tight. Talking about fifth place, it is El Paso with 16 points, but you have to keep in mind FC Tulsa, Sacramento also have 16 points. Then it's Las Vegas with 15 points, only a point behind the 5th, 6th, and 7th place sides. And also with 15 points, Lexington, New Mexico. So there you have it. Like, it's that 15, 16, 17 points. Think about this. New Mexico win the game, they could be in third place in the Western Conference with 18 points. That's how crazy things are at the moment if other teams drop points from where they should be. So there you have it. New Mexico at the moment 10th with 15 points, tied with Las Vegas and Lexington. Las Vegas in 8th place, though. And then you have Colorado Springs Switchbacks with 13 points from 11 matches played. Colorado Springs Switchbacks, not the best at the moment in the league, but killing it in the USL Cup. Monterey Bay at the bottom, but back-to-back wins, bringing them into reaching distance of the playoff spot in 8th place, now with 11 points, 2 points behind Colorado, and obviously we can say 4 points behind Las Vegas, Lexington, and New Mexico. Top scorers goes to Darren Smith, 11 goals with that 5-goal performance against Sporting Jacks. Rubio Rubin and Isan Sacco tied with 8 goals to the good as well. So there you have it in terms of the table. Now looking ahead, obviously the World Cup ongoing, but don't forget there's still USL action. Wednesday, June 17th, Oakland hosts Birmingham at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific. That's going to be a good game. Also, you have on Wednesday a couple other matches. Indy 11 hosts Brooklyn, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. FC Tulsa hosts Monterey Bay, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. Then Saturday for the boys, Saturday for the USL Championship, starting at 7 p.m. 3 matches, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Sporting Jacks host Charleston Battery. Hartford hosts Pittsburgh, and Brooklyn hosts Tampa Bay Rowdies. Then 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Birmingham hosts Loudoun. FC Tulsa, half an hour later, hosts Colorado Springs Switchbacks. The late games on Saturday are as follows. 10 p.m. Eastern, Monterey Bay hosts El Paso. Locomotive, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. You'll have 2 games taken on Las Vegas Lights hosting Orange County and Phoenix hosting Oakland Roots. Then the latest game on Saturday, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, you'll have Sacramento hosting New Mexico United. And then there you have it. But there's so much soccer going on. If you're still following the USL Championship, you're a real one. I mean, these games are expensive for the World Cup, so go support your local side, which you guys are doing, which you got to love to see it, because everyone wants to watch some soccer. It's a great opportunity. And, maybe if you know someone out there that hasn't been to the stadium and they're talking about the World Cup, you should just say, hey, let's go, you and me, to a game. We can go to watch the Rowdies play. We can go watch Lexington. We can go watch Loudoun. Whatever the teams are, invite them, bring them along. You have a chance right now. It's a good opportunity to introduce soccer to those that maybe aren't so passionate as you guys are, and the chance to really bring them and make them a fan of your favorite team in the USL Championship. That's kind of the note I'll leave on, because it's a great time to be watching, following the sport that is certainly in front of our eyes, growing every single day, every single moment. That just really makes and shapes the United States and the soccer culture here. Gotta love it, guys. Let's hope that USA gets the job done against Australia, and we'll be back talking next time around all about the USL Championship and so forth. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the soccer and stay cool.